What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new M82 as well as the C58, so the new LMG and the new AR. I'm going to be getting you just basically the most important base stats for these guns, give you some recommended builds, talk about recoil, talk about all just TTKs and all the basic stats for the gun. We're not going to go in too much depth because I don't have the stuff fully leveled up yet. I haven't used it all, but we will talk about where I think they sit in the game right now, and maybe just a little bit of commentary on the overall changes in Season 4, because they made tons and tons of changes, obviously, to the game. So I'll talk a little bit about that. As always, if you guys like the content, consider dropping that like, comment, and sub if you want to see more content like this. Really helps us out, helps keep the website live and up to date. But let's jump into it, and we'll start talking about the new LMG and the new AR. All right, let's talk about the C58, the new AR first. So I don't have all the stats yet, but I did get most of them today. I got the full damage profile, fire rate, ADS speed, movement speed, reload time, ADS movement speed, bullet velocity, and mag size are all up to date and correct. So the C58 shoots pretty slow. It's down at 553 RPM, but it hits really hard, and it's unique in that it has a different multiplier for every shot location at both damage drop-offs. So the damage profile is 59, 44, 40, 37. Out to 25 meters, and then past that 55, 40, 37, 34. So let's just add this and compare it to something everybody knows, what it feels like. I don't have the new AMAX values up on the site yet. Obviously we're going to be working around the clock to get all this stuff up as quick as possible, but we're going to be comparing to the old AMAX before the changes today. So 250 health, chest shots, 3 plates. Chest shots, the AMAX always had a fantastic TTK, but the C58 actually has a very good TTK as well. The AMAX, obviously the chest values got nerfed like we just talked about, so that'll be changed here pretty soon on the site to see where it stands now. But that's not a bad TTK. Obviously the slow fire rates can make it a little more unforgiving than some of the faster firing guns, but still a decent TTK. Let's look at stomach. So on stomach, it actually kills faster than the AMAX, which is interesting. And again, like I said, this is a unique gun in the AR category, having a different damage value for chest, stomach, and extremities. Normally, they have the same for stomach and extremities, but for some reason, this one has a separate damage for the extremities. Then looking at extremities here, C58 is about exactly the same as AMAX, so I actually think it's going to be pretty good. With the changes they made to the optics and the barrels for the Cold War guns, we've been asking them to do this forever. I literally recorded a video yesterday that I don't know if I'm going to post anymore. I'll probably post something along the lines, but it was about the things I wanted to see changed to the game to make it better. And I talked about how we really needed to have the Cold War guns have very similar attachments to the Modern Warfare guns just for balance. And then literally the next day they came out with this patch and finally gave us the barrels that make sense to match the Modern Warfare guns. So C58 looks decent, but honestly, there's so many guns right now that are going to be decent after these barrel changes. I think they did a lot of tuning for the Cold War guns to make them viable before, without having these really good barrels. So now that we have these really good barrels, and they didn't change any of the stuff that they've been tweaking to make them viable beforehand, we have a bunch of OP Cold War guns. So I think the FARA, the Krig, the Cold War AK are going to be pretty crazy good. The XM4 is going to be crazy good. But we'll obviously I'm going to make videos on that kind of stuff coming up. I need to play the game a little bit and actually experience it and see what stuff feels like. But yeah, this C58 looks like it's pretty good. Overall, let's look at stat comparison, base stats. Let's do summary stat comparison. So compared to the AMAX, with the C58, you're going to get better movement, slightly worse ADS movement, slightly better bullet velocity, better reload time, slower fire rate. So I think it's going to be a pretty good gun. But again, like I just talked about, there's going to be a ton of guns that are really good. So let's add the new LMG. So the MG82. Go through the base stats real fast. Damage profile first. It's a fast shooting LMG with very little recoil. It does 39 to the head, 33 chest, 30 stomach, 30 extremities. In the first drop off out to 27 meters, and then the second drop off it does 36, 30, 28, 28. 346 milliseconds ADS time, 4.59 movement speed. Pretty bad reload time at 6.77 seconds. It's pretty long, and because it shoots so fast and you only have 100 bullets, that's going to be kind of painful, but we'll see as we talk about TTKs and accuracy that this still might be an insanely good gun. It has a 100 mag size by default, 600 bullet velocity, and 2 ADS movement speed. So actually movement and ADS movement are not too bad for an LMG. They're pretty good. ADS is also pretty good for LMG. But let's go ahead and look at the TTK charts. So on this new TTK chart, something I forgot to mention, the MG82 does have open bolt delay, so it's a 67 millisecond open bolt delay. But as we've seen sometimes, like in the past with the Bruin meta, and the Mac 10 meta, it doesn't always matter as much as it seems like it should. Especially in longer range engagements where it doesn't matter because you're not starting the fight at the exact same time. Up close, I'd say open bolt delay is a lot more important because most of the time you're going to be seeing each other and firing at the same time. But at range, a lot of the time you're shooting when they don't see you, so it's not as big of a deal. So TTK here for the MG82. This is chest shots, 250 health again. A little better than the C58, a little slower than the old AMAX. Let's jump over to stomach. Stomach has great TTKs, 583 milliseconds, better than the AMAX, better than the C58 everywhere. We go to extremities. MG82 again is going to kill both of them. So even with the open bolt delay included, it still has fantastic TTKs. This thing's going to be an absolute monster, not only because of TTKs. If I jump into the game real fast and show you guys the recoil. So what I did to test the recoil, this is like a meta build, so I'll show you the build for it. I think something along these lines. Obviously, I haven't even played with this thing yet. It's just came out yesterday. I don't have it leveled or anything. 3x optic is amazing now. Agency suppressor, task force barrel is now awesome for long range on the ARs and LMGs. Just helps with everything that you wanted. Like this is just basically a long barrel from Modern Warfare, which we've been asking for forever. Field agent grip just for recoil again, because you're gonna be using this as your long range gun, so you basically just want to maximize that accuracy. And then I did the same exact build for the C58. So what I did was I stood at the same distance. So on the left here is the MG82's recoil pattern, 45 bullets. Middle is a fully kitted meta AMAX, 45 bullets again. And then on the right is the C58 with the same build as this MG82 had. So basically what I think is going to be roughly the meta for long range guns. And you can see the MG82 has a little bit more vertical recoil than the AMAX, but it is perfectly vertical with absolutely no horizontal bounce. Horizontal bounce is like when you see the bullets kind of going left to right a little bit up the recoil pattern. It's something you can't correct for. It's semi-random in the recoil pattern. So the fact that the MG82 just has none of that whatsoever with this build is insane, and it's going to make you be able to fry people at crazy distances. Because there's no unpredictability with the horizontal bounce there. And then you can see on the right the C58 also has really good recoil. It has less horizontal bounce than the AMAX, and less vertical recoil, and just a very smooth curve recoil pattern. So this thing, I think both guns are gonna be really good, but I still think the FARA and the XM4 and the Krig are gonna be really good options too. We'll just have to see how that pans out as we actually play the game some. But you can look at this; it's insane. It's just straight vertical with no horizontal. We've never had a gun that had no horizontal bounce like that. So I think it's going to be a monster. Have to figure out what we're going to use for like magazines and maybe some aiming stability stuff, because it doesn't have the best aiming stability, but with recoil like that, it's probably not really going to matter. But overall, I think both new guns are super good. They're going to be a lot of fun to use. I'm looking forward to using the LMG. Might be a little bit painful for a while in Warzone because I think just everybody's going to be using it probably. But with these barrel changes, like I talked about, the other Cold War guns are going to be great. So we'll see. I don't know. I think we might see a lot of FARAs, might see a lot of XM4s, a lot of this thing, a lot of the new C58 as your main AR. But obviously, we'll come out with more meta videos as I discover what things really are the best in practice rather than just looking at the numbers. But looking at the numbers and the recoil, I think this thing's going to be just disgustingly good. All right, everybody. Well, that's all I really wanted to cover in this. Just most of the base stats for the gun. Obviously, we'll be getting all the attachments up on there pretty soon for both the C58 and the MG82, as well as updating everything from the patch notes. I'll probably come out with just a general patch notes video here in a couple days once I get a full handle on all the data and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, consider dropping that like and comment. It helps us out. I will see you all in the next video, which should be out tomorrow.